webinar, I would like to take a moment to also thank today's partner sponsor, Delta Dental. This afternoon, we're going to hear from the University of Arkansas, University of Arkansas at Little Rock, and University of Arkansas-Pulaski Technical College about best ways employers can post jobs so students will see them. Also participate in campus career fairs, connect to students within certain academic departments, and how to have an increased campus presence and engagement. I'm sure our distinguished panelists will raise some of these thoughts, but recruiting is more than just job fairs. We always want to hire the best available talent, but we also know that diversity, equity, and inclusion matters. So where and how we recruit becomes even more critical. Studies have shown that diversity isn't just good for companies' culture or optics. It is good for the bottom line as well. The U.S. House Committee on Financial Services report on diversity in banking found that companies in the top quartile for gender diversity on executive teams are 21% more likely to outperform on profitability. Likewise, companies in the top quartile for ethnic and cultural diversity on executive teams were 33% more likely to have industry-leading profitability. So I hope we'll all be listening intently and taking notes as we learn from these speakers how we can be more intentional in our recruiting efforts and how success will positively impact diversity, equity, and inclusion, regardless of industries in which we work. Now, I'd like to welcome today's facilitator, Christy Barr. Christy is Little Rock Regional Chamber's Director of Talent Initiatives and has the privilege of working with our academies of Central Arkansas schools, business partners, community and business leaders on workforce development, talent recruitment, and talent attraction. So at this point, Christy, I'll turn it over to you.
Marcus, thank you so much. Really appreciate you and Arvest for being our presenting sponsor for the Power Up series, being here with us today and sharing your thoughts as it relates to talent recruitment, attraction, and diversity, intentionality in that process. Also want to say thank you to Delta Dental, who is a partner sponsor for this event. So, you know, we can't host events like this without our business support. So thank you all so much. I think many of you know that the Chamber has a focus on talent initiatives. I hope you know that. Certainly with the Academies of Central Arkansas work that Marcus mentioned, which is really about that pipeline creation and aligning what we're doing in our high schools with what the in-demand talent is within the community. It is the #1 priority of our chamber that we are working on that talent pipeline and trying to address the labor and the workforce needs of the employers within Central Arkansas. So with that in mind, we thought the event today, especially given, you know, workforce is at a critical place right now with shortages, for those companies and employers that have an interest in hiring right out of college, you know, how do you do that? What's the best way to do that? How do you reach those students? How do you interact with the colleges and universities that support Arkansans to find that talent? So we've got a panel today, excellent presenters that we'll introduce you to kind of talk through how to reach those soon-to-be graduates and how to find that perfect fit for your organization. So as we get started, please feel free to put questions either in the Q&A section or in the chat. We will plan to respond to those at the end of the session, unless we see something that we really need to hit on between speakers. We'll try to do that at the end, but please feel free to enter as we go, and I'll be monitoring those. So let's get started with the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville. And we will turn it over to Erica Estes, who is the Interim Assistant Vice Chancellor for Career Services within the University Career Development Center. So Erica.
Hello, thank you so much, Christy and Marcus. I'm really excited to talk with our Central Arkansas partners today about how to engage and recruit students from the U of A. As many of you probably already heard, our student population will surpass the 30,000 mark this year, and we want to retain as many of those students in Arkansas as we can. So we can only do this with a healthy workforce and a collaboration across the entire state. So thank you for being here today. Next slide. So today I'll cover the following topics. I'll talk to you a bit about Handshake, which is our the University of Arkansas's job posting platform. I'll talk to you a little bit about writing descriptive postings and participating in career fairs, and then targeting key student groups using RazorLink, and also giving you contact information with some liaisons on campus to help you navigate our campus. Next slide. So I just want to start by talking to you about Handshake. And if you aren't already familiar with Handshake, I'm going to make your recruiting life so much easier. Handshake is a platform that is used across the country and by most colleges. And the advantage for employers who are interested in recruiting entry-level roles is that you can post on Handshake and then select all of the colleges that you're interested in recruiting from. So the various things that you can do on Handshake: you can post jobs and internships, you can register for career fairs from all these different colleges, you can request to host career events through a specific college, you can create interview schedules, you can filter students, and even reach out to 100 students in each of those universities per semester. So one of the things I wanted to mention is, or the question that I often get is, what's the difference between Handshake and Indeed? And the difference is that whenever you're using Handshake, students know that you're recruiting them because you are posting for this specific university. On this screen, you can see a screenshot of Handshake, and I want you to pay attention to the left navigation options. You can filter students by major area, graduation date, GPA, school, all of those different areas, as well as identify additional schools that you're interested in recruiting from. So I hope that that's helpful. And if you have any questions about Handshake, we have lots of folks at the U of A that are happy to help you. Next slide, please. One of the ways that you can use Handshake effectively is to make sure that you have descriptive job postings. Now, Handshake also does give tips. I noticed the other day when I was logged in as an employer that it has a little link indicating that gave some information about make sure that your job posting has X, Y, and Z. And some of those things are listed here. So these are just a few pointers. Make sure that you're writing clear and concise details about the job. Put yourself in the position of a student who is unfamiliar with the industry and with maybe with this type of role, and help them understand and really visualize what it is that they would be doing with you. Make sure to include a relevant title. And something that would help a new user understand what it is that you're doing. Include your company name, the job details, and the desired qualifications or requirements. The job location is really helpful, especially whenever you're hiring in lots of locations. Indicate where this particular position would reside. And if it's remote, you can indicate that on Handshake also. Make sure that you're transparent with the salary as much as you can be. That's a real driver for a lot of our students. And include the benefits to the students. So think about, what are the opportunities that they're going to experience working with you? Are they going to get to network with other industry folks? Do you offer flexible schedules? Sometimes maybe even working from home, mentorship, and the type of industry experience. And my last tip is to make sure that you are mindful of the skills and the qualifications of your role, rather than just focusing solely on a major. A lot of our students have crossover skills that could be valuable to you, but maybe they're not in a major that you're automatically thinking of as related to this role. So I encourage you to think broadly about the majors that you might indicate you're interested in recruiting on your job posting. Okay, next slide. I also wanted to indicate that The other reason that students use this platform is not only because you're recruiting them specifically, but also because we vet all employers who are posting on Handshake. That way, a student knows that the company that is posted here is a legitimate company. And here's some information about what our vetting process looks like. So sometimes companies will try to create a quick profile on Handshake, and I just want to emphasize the more details and more information you can include in your organization profile, the better. Make sure that you have the company website and that you have a location, an address attached to it in a commercial space. We are actually looking at Google World and places like that to identify, is this a residential home? And if it is, we need to follow up with additional information. So these are all just reasons that we are, or ways that we're trying to keep our students safe as they look for employment. All right, yeah, thank you. And of course, we offer career fairs. We offer lots of career fairs each fall, each spring. This is a list of our career fairs. And I believe that this PowerPoint is going to be sent out to all of you. So you can actually click on this slide to go to our website for more details on what each of these career fairs is and the dates and times and whether it's remote or in person. This fall, all of our career fairs, and one that is not listed is a technical, a virtual technical mixer. But all of these other ones will be on campus. And next slide, please. One interesting opportunity to connect with students is to use our new mentoring platform. If you're an alumni of the University of Arkansas in particular, we'd love for you to join RazorLink and add a profile here. But even if you did not attend school here or not a member of the Alumni Association, you can still create a profile on RazorLink as a friend of the university to offer advice to U of A students who are maybe interested in either, like maybe your location, or maybe you share a hometown, or maybe you are working in an industry that they're interested in, or have a job title or work for a company that they're interested in. They can filter in lots of different ways, which makes it a little different than LinkedIn, because they can filter by ethnicity and they can filter by organizations that maybe you were a part of whenever you were in college, things like that. And I just want to note that you can only communicate with students who reach out to you. So this is not a platform for you to get on and search for students. If you're interested in doing that, check Handshake for that. All right, and my last slide. We know our campus is large and confusing. So we have some career services liaisons to help you navigate the different colleges. Though their names and email addresses are here, and then whenever you get to the slides, you can there's a hyperlink there that goes into more details about each of these colleges. So I encourage you to reach out to these navigation helpers for any specific areas you're interested in recruiting from. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erica. I know I jotted down a couple of questions myself, so hopefully everyone else has, and we can circle back to all of those. Love the Handshake and the consolidation of colleges into one platform across the country. So that's exciting. I know prior to maybe a month ago, I had never heard of it. So I'll be curious to hear some commentary in the chat from our attendees, whether that was something they knew about or not. So thank you, Erica. And with that, let's transition over to UA Little Rock, and we have Britney Straw, who is the Director of Career Services there. Britney?
Yes, hello, and thank you all for joining us. I am the director here at Career Services in University of Arkansas at Little Rock. And just a little bit about our campus. We have over 8,000 students in 143 different programs of study. As far as our diversity goes, we have over 40 student organizations, and that includes cultural, honor, professional, and department. So that's a great way to connect when you become an employer, not only to post those jobs, but to also let us know which honor organizations or cultural organizations you would like to connect with. We have 45% minority, and so that includes African-American, Asian-American, and a wide variety of other ethnicities. One unique factor about our students is that 68% of our students are working while they are in school. So if you have internships or you have part-time positions, even manager and training positions, this is a great way to get to know our students while they are finishing their degree and their curriculum. We have about 62% females. So for all of you STEM majors who are looking for more females to add to your workforce, we are happy to have you. And then 67% of our students are adult learners. And that means that they're between the age of 21 and 49. And so they're a little bit more seasoned. I know that a lot of times you'll have a job posting where you need somebody with a little bit more experience. And we have those students here. And last but not least, but 94% of our students are in state. So that means that a lot of them are right here in the community where you are. And we know that 86% of our students stay here after graduation. Next slide, please. So getting involved, you have a couple of ways to build your brand on campus. I think it's really important not only that you attend the career fairs. I know that's kind of the first thing that comes to mind, but there's other opportunities. And so here I've broken it into two different types, and that's on campus and online. I know that some of you are still virtual, and so you can offer virtual workshops or virtual information sessions, but you also have the opportunity to come on campus and to give a class presentation, or we have a new series this year that is Workshop Wednesdays, and it's kind of lunch and learn. And this gives you an hour to talk about professional development topic of your choice and also to highlight your company. And we do have some dates available, and I'll show that in a minute. But what we want is not only just for them to know that your company exists, but for them to understand your brand and also the culture around your company. Next slide. These are our fall career fairs. Like she said, these will be sent out, and so we'll have some links to those as well. All of these fairs are in person, and we will have one additional virtual fair that will be all majors, and that will be in late October. Next slide. We also have our Employer Workshop Wednesdays. This is a new series that we have started as a request of employers wanting to have a little bit more one-on-one time with our students in a more informal manner. And once this is sent out, you'll be able to click on the link and submit a registration if you would like to host one of those Workshop Wednesdays. We are extremely happy to have you. Next slide. And for key contacts on campus, you can contact myself or my counterpart, Kevin Bontempo. He is the career specialist here. He has a wealth of knowledge that he brings to the office and supports our students in their career counseling. One thing that I did want to highlight, we talked about building your brand on campus, is anytime that you are on campus, whether it's for a career fair, tabling, or a workshop, make sure that you tag the Career Center in those posts. We would love to repost those or retag you all in those. A lot of times we have a large student following, and we can get those out for you. So I did include that on there so that you know that you can always tag us in those posts, and we can help you by spreading the word with our student population. Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany. Yeah, I loved hearing those demographics you shared about the campus, especially I hadn't thought about the in-state and that percentage of how many in-state residents stay in state, right? Versus a college that may have a lot of out of state, and what I'm going to follow up at the end, Erica, with a question to you on what we do to try and keep graduates to stay here, right? Rather than go back to their hometown. So be thinking on that one. It's coming your way, Erica. Again, Brittany, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And last, we're going to pivot to the University of Arkansas-Pulaski Technical College. We will hear from both Joshua Engel, who is the Dean of Student Affairs, and Tamia Tucker, the Assistant Director of Advising and Career Services. So I will hand it off to you two.
Thank you, Christy, and I'm very happy to be chatting with you all today and happy to build stronger connections. And being new to the area, this gives me a great opportunity to make connections with folks here in Little Rock who are looking to connect with our career services and provide services to our students and new opportunities for them. So thank you. Next slide. Just to give you an idea of our student populations here at Pulaski Tech, Mark has mentioned the emphasis on EDI, and here at Pulaski Tech, we have a history of being a predominantly Black community college. Our data shows that our institution rates of race and ethnicity have ebbed and flows over the years, but we do have a strong 38.8% population for Black or African-American students, and 42.4% of our students are white. Hispanic population is about 7.3% for the current year. And we're excited about that. We do love working with individual students who are looking for more opportunities and also connecting them with those potential employers. When we look at our full-time versus part-time rate, we're looking at 48% of our students are full-time and 52% are part-time students. And much like our counterparts, that means that many of our students are actually working while attending at the institution and looking for new opportunities. Gender breakdown, we have 33% of our population as male, 67% as female, and 62% of our student population are Pell eligible. And again, this shows that we have students who are eager to find new opportunities out in the workforce. And just a couple of things that I would mention before I turn it over to Tamia, and before we go to the next slide. We have a lot of technical certificates that we offer, from welding and CDL trucking. We also offer EMS, emergency medical services, training for students, and we have a very strong allied health and nursing program. And we also have a strong business program as well as IT services with a great cybersecurity program that I'm learning a lot about as I've acclimated to my new role. Another really interesting piece of information is that the average age of our student is 26 years old. And so that really gives you an idea of the wide range of the types of students that we have here at Pulaski Tech. And we do have the typical traditional population of younger students looking for new opportunities in the career, to start their careers. But we also have a lot of students who are currently working, as I said, but looking for new opportunities. And that creates great relationships between employers looking for a wide range of students and employees that could fit your organizations. So thank you. Next slide. There's a couple of things that we can offer to you to build relationships and help you connect with students and potential employees. The first is we offer on-the-spot interviews. If you have individuals who are looking or recruiters who are looking to come and meet our students one-on-one and do on-the-spot interviews on campus and get to know those students a bit better, we can certainly offer that opportunity to you, and we're happy to coordinate and schedule that and advertise for you so our students are aware and can utilize that as an opportunity to build their professional development skills, as well as find those potential careers and new opportunities. We'd also love to have you table on campus. The more presence you have here at UAPTC, the better, because our students oftentimes are looking for opportunities. And while Tamia does a great job coordinating with those students and advertising those opportunities, we also want to make sure that you have a presence on campus to make yourselves known to those students and can build those connections and a more efficient way of recruiting from our student populations. And of course, we're all offering career fairs. And Tamia will talk about this here in a minute, because we certainly have career fairs scheduled for this year, and we'd love to see you participate in those. Next slide. I'll turn this over to Tamia, who is recently has transitioned into the Director of Advising and Career Services at UAPTC. I'm very excited to have her in this role. Prior to this, she was the Assistant Director and coordinated our career services. So thanks, take it away, Tamia.
Thank you, Josh, I appreciate that. Hello, everyone. I just want to touch base on what Josh mentioned before, our career fairs, right? So we have our tentative dates that are there listed. We'll be sending out save the dates for the events, just something to remember about, because we have our main campus and our South Side. Our South Side houses our cosmetology, culinary, aviation, CDL trucking, and other our technical degrees. So there'll be more of those students that will attend that South site career fair, but all students will attend the main campus site. And those dates are tentative, but we will be sending out the date. Say the dates. If that's something that you want to be a part of, you can please email us and we can get that information out to you. Next slide. Okay, now we talked about what we offer, right? And I want to take a minute to inform you guys on what changes we're making. First, we're going to have a new web page we'll be launching specifically for employers. It will navigate you all to where to go on specific information, right? So it's a way for us to be more proficient when it comes to career services. We're exploring all of our opportunities as well with the implementation of different services. I know Erica touched on Handshake. Another one we're thinking about is Smart Resume. It's something we're looking at. It has great features to connect PTC students with job opportunities in our community. If you don't know about that, please look it up. It's something new that we're thinking about. Basically shares the credentials of the students, and it's verified through our university. So we will settle on something very soon. And in the meantime, we do have our job fairs, but we also have a job submission platform where employers go to add their information to students. And we're able to view and apply for those jobs there. And it's on our website. I hope everyone will agree, right? Social media is big in this generation. And as Britney was talking about tagging her. Yeah, so our campaign for our department is going to utilize that accessibility. It provides to get a broader range of students. We're going to use that to the best of our ability and more often than we are. And we can use that if you want to do tabling events, we'll put that, on our social media. So anything that you guys are wanting, speak with us about it. That takes me to employer relationships, right? So it's very huge aspect of a successful career services department. Being new to this position, I feel that there's a need to establish a big, better long-lasting relationship with our partners, which will allow us to get the most out of our student experience. Next slide. All right. So as I mentioned before, the building employer relationships, it's very important to us. And I wanted to touch on a couple key points when we're talking about career and self-development. We want our partners to help us work together and to help our students, right? Acknowledge what their strengths and weaknesses are while navigating their career opportunities. So, and when you're engaging and talking with them about how your company can help them with not only professional learning and personal as well as professional, get to know them and speak to them in those tabling events and talk to them right then and there about what you see that you can benefit from your company. Teamwork is also a big part of the collaboration process. And we want to be able to work towards our common goal, while at the same time appreciating and acknowledging each other's viewpoints. So what can we do as a university to get our students better suited for you as employers? And let us know that information. And it's okay to give us that information. That's something that we need to know and we need to work with. Flexibility, that's a big part of our student population that will require. Will you be able to work with their school schedule? Will you be able to, work with their schedule? That's something that needs to be considered when you're looking to hire prospective students. That brings us to the communication. I'm gonna say it again, it's key to success of our employers, our students, and ourselves at the university. We know we're all busy, but we can schedule lunch and learns. If that is something that you can give us information about, meet and greets, come talk to me, I'm here. If you want to build a better relationship, if we can do that. All parties willing to listen and incorporate what we've learned and be clear and concise on the expectations. What do you expect from our students? Next slide. All right, and that's all we have. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Tamia. So, attendees, now's the time to put questions, thoughts, comments in the Q&A and in the chat. I have written down several, so if I don't see any popping up, I'll jump to mine. But we did have one question come in ahead of time via email that I want to share and see if anyone has thoughts on this. It's a little different. It says, how are students learning about technical interview preparation? So to me, this means addressing technical skills, maybe having to show they have aptitude for technical skills as part of an interview process. Are any of you addressing that within your career services divisions?
So here at Pulaski Tech, we have our webinars, right? So we try to talk to them about what's the most important thing that you can give to an employer. And if you're doing those technical jobs, you got to be prepared to be able to show them rather than tell them. You can tell them that, hey, I can do this, but be able to show them when you show up, be ready to do a 30-minute, interview process that shows that you can code. So those are some things that we talk about in our webinar and getting them prepared, be ready for on-site assignments. What about if they want to give you homework to take home and then, come back and give them that information? So those are some of the things that we talk about as well.
Okay, perfect. Any of the other panelists want to address that question? Brittany?
Yes, one thing that we do is we teach them to try to go ahead and build a portfolio of their work that they have done so that they can showcase that if they need to, but also, like Tamia said, letting them know that they need to know how to demonstrate those qualities and not be alarmed that if there is an assignment or a presentation that needs to be given, that is just their way of, seeing the quality of your skill set.
Okay, Erica?
Yeah, I'd like to just also mention that the liaisons that I showed my last slide around campus are there to also help employers who are interested in offering presentations that are niche to your industry. So I know, for example, Kelsey Levine in the College of Engineering has worked with an employer last semester who hosted a tech interview prep workshop for engineering students. So things like that definitely can happen.
Okay, thank you. So that kind of leads in. Talk me through if you had an employer that was looking to hire someone in engineering or something like that. If you were going to walk them through step by step what that would look like in a series of engagements, in my mind, I'm thinking register with Handshake, post the job with Handshake, maybe do a prep session, come to a career fair. Talk me through what you think the best sequence of events would be. You know what I mean? Like what are the have tos? What are the would be nice tos that you think a small staff employer with maybe just a few people could really engage with the universities?
If
Josh.
we're talking, happy to address it. So if we're talking a smaller employer, but looking for someone who can be a jack of all trades while also being an expert in a specific responsibility with the position, reaching out to Tamia would be excellent, because you may have job responsibilities and requirements that you need a specific quality of student or a student who has skill sets in many different areas. And we are certainly happy to help with the recruitment process of that. And Tamia mentioned Smart Resume as part of her presentation. This could be a great way for us to connect you with that student, also allow you to search through some of the qualifications that student has achieved throughout their time at UAPTC. But if you have I think starting with Tamia is a great option, because she could actually cater what your needs are to what we can offer at the institution. But utilizing some of those tools like Smart Resume and getting her guidance through the job board, I think would be very helpful to us in connecting you with those students that you're recruiting.
Thank you, Josh. Does anyone else want to touch on that one, or Erica?
I think that you covered it really well. I'll just emphasize too that each of our college liaisons send out newsletters to students within their own colleges. And but the first thing is definitely post on Handshake. Until that happens, then we're unlikely to share the posting. So first post on Handshake. You can contact one of the employer relations folks to include in a newsletter, and then campus, campus involvement. Participating in those career fairs goes a long way. That's oftentimes how students find their jobs and internships, especially in specific industries like engineering and business. So make sure that you're traveling and going to those companies or going to those fairs.
Perfect. So I have a couple questions that came to mind with that quickly. With Handshake, can one of you quickly just say, what is the anticipated timeline, right? I need to register, I have to wait to get approved. And then when you post a job, you have to wait for the job to be approved. Does that usually happen within an hour, 24 hours? What can an employer expect from that?
It usually happens within a 24 to 48 hour turnaround. I know most of us have staff that are assigned to reviewing jobs. I know Erica alluded to that we do vet these positions. So if you've been vetted, like she said, if you use like a Facebook, email, website address, then yours will be delayed because we'll have to cancel it until you go back in and enter in that information. So it's really important that you fill that out completely in its entirety. And then once you become an established employer with us, then we can mark you as automatically approved jobs. And so usually the employers that we get to know that are coming on campus a lot or that are sponsoring events, we will have them in that status. So it becomes very automatic for them.
And we do have some questions in the Q&A, and I know some of the panelists have been answering those and are answering as we speak, but just to draw attention to that, some questions around whether internships are required and is credit offered. It looks to me like Erica is addressing that in the Q&A chat, but additionally about some of the career fairs and when will they go live on Handshake. I know that has been answered. So to attendees, please do take a look at the Q&A as those are being typed and answered. And then a really curious question, and I want to see what you all think about, UA system collaboration here, but will there ever be one online location where all of your career fairs would be listed in one spot? Who wants to tackle that one? I'm going to say no, but I just want to offer you the opportunity to say yes, absolutely. And to that attendee, I will let you know, we will certainly send out the slideshow where you would have all of the links. But that does bring a question. Can employers opt in somewhere to an e-newsletter, to communication from you where calendar dates are being proactively sent to them? Do they have to do that by department or through career services?
Christy, actually, all employers can find career fairs for all of the Arkansas schools in Handshake who use Handshake. So it's already in one location. And then as far as getting information about when career fairs are happening, that also will happen whenever you have a presence in Handshake, because that's our contact management system as well. So once you have contact information there, then we're sending out information to you and letting you know when those fairs are happening.
Perfect. And I know Smart Resume has been mentioned a couple times. I will say also our chamber is really excited about Smart Resume for what it can offer employers. The ability to search for candidates where all of those credentials are verified, right? So they're a graduate, they were on the dean's list, they have a certification as a forklift driver, whatever that may be. Those registrar offices are feeding that into Smart Resume. So those candidates come with verified certification. So from a chamber standpoint, as we think about our talent initiatives and what we're trying to do, we're really excited about that opportunity to help our employers connect with candidates that meet their needs. And then even potentially, and this is going to go back to Erica, I told you I was coming back to you, to tee up when we think about talent attraction, right? How do we identify those students that have a connection to Arkansas? So they graduated from here, but maybe have moved away. So we can use Smart Resume and some of those other data sources to try and identify talent and recruit them back. So twofold there, Erica. What if, and to any of the others too, but what do you do with students as they're getting ready to graduate to encourage them to stay within the region, to stay within the state? And then second to that is if we have employers that are interested in reaching out to alumni, perhaps, no, that's a little different, but what would that look like?
Yes, I guess in terms of engaging students and encouraging them to stay here, the biggest reason a student is likely to stay here is whenever they've worked with a company that they want to stay with, or within an industry that they're interested in, and they've gotten to know other companies in the state. So honestly, the best answer to that is offer internships, get students engaged with your companies. But also on top of that, we have the newsletters that our employer relations folks will send out to students that highlight specific opportunities, and we really try to focus those in on Arkansas opportunities, and engagement on campus. You know, just like PTC and UA Little Rock. I'm from Little Rock, and so it's a hard habit to break. But just, you know, like all the other schools, the more you're on campus, the more likely students will know about you and will want to learn more and engage with you.
Just to piggyback or razorback off of what Erica said, a lot of times we have students do a cost of living comparison. And that is one thing that really opens their eyes to how affordable our cost of living is here. But I think the highest thing is that they have already an offer before they've graduated with a company that they know the culture and they enjoy working with. So offering those summer internships, those part-time employment, working with a class for a capstone project are all excellent ways to get to know our students. We work very closely with our alumni, as I'm sure the other universities do as well. And so if you're wanting to recruit alumni, definitely reach out to us, let our employer relations and our directors know so that we can put you in contact with the correct person. But that is something that we do in our offices.
Another thing I'll mention about alumni, recruiting alumni, on RazorLink, you can, what I mentioned that students can't, or that you can't see students, but you can see all of the other alumni or friends of the university that are on the platform. So you can connect with them on RazorLink, and you can also, in discussion forums, you can add any postings that you're interested in pushing out to alumni there.
Anyone else on that question before we pivot?
We do. Yes, thank you. We do have an alumni association that's coordinated through our foundation office, and we're happy to connect you with Michelle Granger, who coordinates that. She's excellent to work with, cares a great deal about our students and our alumni. And if you need more information, please reach out to myself or to me, and we can put you in connection with her. The other thing I would mention about Arkansas and staying within the state for recruitment, I know the trend right now is that several folks from the West Coast are moving to regions like Arkansas and Missouri because of, again, the cost of living, but also the flexibility. And we have a really unique space here where we have a metropolitan area with quite a bit of diversity, while also we're the natural state, right? We have a lot of things for folks to do that are outside of work that make that satisfaction of just living here in the state. That creates a pretty strong recruitment concept when we're talking with students and trying to help them see the benefits of staying here in Arkansas. That's part of the reason I came to Arkansas, for all the reasons we've talked about today.
Perfect. And I saw we've got another true believer and one of our attendees who has signed up for Handshake while we're on the webinar here, and has confirmed his email and is ready to go. So Mike, thank you for that. I want to ask a question about the career services. So I know you do a lot of support for students, but how much support do you do for employers, right? Several of you talked about how to write those job descriptions, how to be specific. Do you work with any employers through that process, or are you primarily focused just on assisting students?
We have an entire team dedicated to working with employers. So yes, absolutely. We want to help you make sure that you're crafting a message that students will hear.
Excellent.
Yes. UA Little Rock, we do the same thing. We have employers that reach out and we try to come up with a recruitment plan that works for each company. You know, each company is unique and their needs are unique. And so once an employer reaches out, we're going to usually set up at least a phone call to sit down and see what their needs are so that we can help them with their best recruiting.
Tamia?
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely. And I was going to touch on this. Also working with them, but also getting the departments right, because it's different departments and it's easier to contact with those specific students. So getting the employer in contact with that department, and as well as us coming up with, you know, specifics on, okay, if we're going to do a tabling event, how are we going to get these specific students that you want to recruit out so you can be able to speak with them. So yeah, definitely. And I would just say, you reaching out to us, we want that, right? We want you to continue to reach out to us so we can maintain that relationship. So I had an employee who was like, I'm sorry for bothering you. No, don't be sorry. Please continue to bother me, right? So I can give you the necessary information because our students, you know, they need work and it's great. So don't think too much communication is, you know, it's too much. It's not.
Talk a little bit about when a business comes to that career fair, what resonates most with the students? What should they bring? Do they need a big, huge display? Should they be prepared to do interviews on site? Do they need to have candy to give away? I mean, what do they need to bring to lure those students to their booth?
I would say having a position open and Handshake is probably going to be the best thing. A flashy display is nice. Candy is nice. I'll be honest, most students are too nervous to take it. So unless you hand it to them or tell them to take it, a lot of times they forget about it. However, if they see that you have an information session the night before, or, you know, they've done their research and they see that you have open positions for paid internships in the summer, they're more likely to come talk to you because they know that you actually have opportunities rather than just kind of branding that day. And so we always stress to make sure that you have all your positions posted before the career fair so that students are more likely to approach your stand.
Yes, I agree. I agree, Brittany. When you have a position posted, they're going to come directly to you and say, I've seen this on, you know, whatever platform you're in. I've seen this. Is it still available? And that's when you can get that communication started. Even if the position's been filled, you got that contact. So now you can continue to talk to that student.
I also agree. And I will say that the employers who have been the most successful with getting students to engage them in a career fair before, if a student doesn't know about your company already, one of the best things you can do is use the 100 students that you can reach out to and do that before you come to the career fair. Identify who it is that you're interested in talking to and invite them to come talk to you at the career fair.
So is there, I mean, it seems like Handshake is pretty easy to use. However, are there training tutorials available? Do you help walk somebody through it if they maybe are not quite so tech savvy?
Yes, we can do that. But also I'd like to emphasize that Handshake as a platform is really strong on customer service. So the help button is very accessible, very helpful from the platform itself. So sometimes there are questions that we can't answer or we can't do because we can't see what the employer sees on their end with their page. And that's when Handshake, the company, it would be the most helpful resource. And there's a lot of training materials from them. They're constantly pushing that out to folks also.
I think that covers most of the questions we've had coming in through chat, through email, through the Q&A. We do still have a couple minutes, so I wanted to just see if there are any additional closing comments. I will say we talked a little bit about alumni and smart resume and all of that, and I will say to the panelists and to the attendees, stay tuned for additional information from the Chamber, because we are really looking to try to start establishing a more proactive talent attraction strategy into Little Rock, working both with the CVB and a potential investor to offer some incentives to around certain occupations and jobs. So that is still in development, but we are really excited about that work in addition to what we're doing with that talent pipeline creation, right? So getting high school students, concurrent credit in all of your universities, potentially both in those career and technical classes and in those core classes. So again, one of our #1 priorities, talent initiatives, workforce development. We are so grateful to all of our panelists today for joining us. Marcus, to you and your team, always, we appreciate you so much. I will see if anyone has any closing comments they want to make before we sign off.
I just wanted to call out, I see that Madeline Jones, who is one of our campus liaisons at the University of Arkansas, has some really helpful tips in the Q&A. So just want to draw attention to that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much also for including the University of Arkansas. Even though we're a couple of hours from Little Rock, we're always wanting to partner with Central Arkansas.
Anyone else?
I just want to say thank you. This has been an excellent opportunity for us, especially for Tamia and I, as we've acclimated to our new roles. A lot of our discussions around strategic planning across the institution with our Board of Visitors has focused on developing relationships and maintaining those relationships and revitalizing relationships with potential employers. And this is an excellent opportunity. So thank you, Marcus with Arvest, and thank you, Delta Dental. This was an excellent opportunity for us.
And we did have one question in the chat that snuck in, and I think I know the answer, but is there a cost to employers to be in Handshake? Okay. Free service. Have at it, everybody.
Free to employers.
Sorry,
We're always looking for employer partners who want to help us fund things like that, though.
Excellent. Any other comments? Tamia, Brittany, go ahead.
Thank you for this opportunity. Just pleased to be here.
Perfect.
Yes, I just want to reiterate that and what Josh was saying, we're new. So to this platform, this career services. So please reach out to us. I'm gonna continue to say that because we are wanting to build more partnerships, with everyone in Little Rock. Thanks.
Excellent. Well, we will be sending out the slides to every attendee, so you'll be able to access all those contacts, those emails, those hyperlinks. All of that will be available. Take a screen grab of who you saw, what they look like. I think you all had your pictures on your slides, but just in case, so you can always put a face with the name. And again, thank you to Arvest, thank you to Delta Dental. So thrilled to have had all of you here today. My information is always available on the Little Rock Chamber website as well. So if anyone has any questions or comments for me as it relates to workforce or talent, we're here to serve. So thank you all so much. Try and stay dry. It has started raining downtown at least. So enjoy the day, and thank you all so very much.